Ugh. What's up, YouTube? It is time for another update. I'm actually in the middle of a conditioning circuit, and then I had a phone call which distracted me, and I figured, hey, might as well maintain that distraction, get the work done in a little bit. But just wanted to update you guys. Right now, I believe I am 7 weeks out, maybe 6 weeks out. I'm really confused at this point because I was gonna do, no, I'm 6 weeks out. It would be 5 weeks out if I was doing the Muscle Mania show, which I'm not doing. So 6 weeks out right now from today. Actually today, in like 2 hours, I'll be on stage in 6 weeks. In 6 weeks and 2 hours. Yeah, something like that. Anyways, update on contest prep, because I haven't really done one like this. So, been prepping for a while now, and the initial phase of contest prep was really a transition from powerlifting, training, and dieting, etc., towards bodybuilding. So, you know, a big focus on volume, training volume, getting that up nice and high. Also a focus on keeping calories higher and keeping them as consistent or the same for as long as possible. Try to get a bit of muscle regain some of the gains that I lost when I was doing powerlifting. When I did powerlifting training, I definitely didn't emphasize or consider competing in bodybuilding, so I didn't really think about you know, building or maintaining a physique that looks like a bodybuilder. So what I mean by that is I didn't train calves, hamstrings, biceps, traps, shoulders, stuff like that. Like, didn't really push that kind of stuff that much. It was more towards be as strong as I can in the squat, bench, and deadlift, which is what I did, which is what I achieved, and I'm really actually proud of myself, and you know, happy that I actually did achieve that. I actually went and did powerlifting competitions with the IPF, and I actually won my class and or the competition, and I actually hit PBs, and I also got a total that I was beyond what I ever wanted, you know, in my lifting career, if you call it a career. But anyways, moving on to bodybuilding, we started off with just a transition phase, focusing more on higher volume training, which was kicking my ass, like super high reps and stuff, or lots of sets I should say. And we kept calories up, and we've slowly but progressively reduced calories over time. We haven't implemented any steady state cardio, but we have implemented some circuit training. So for a period of time there was a bit of hit on the bike, which to be honest, I hate that. I know how effective it is though, but I hate that. So there was a bit of that. Right now there's a bit of conditioning circuit work, so like goblet squats straight into reverse lunges, straight into push press, straight into single leg RDL, straight into what else did I do? Skipping, things like that. So just like little circuits like that keep me moving, and it's an alternative to hitting the treadmill, which I have one and I haven't really used it. I've only used it once in this contest prep, maybe twice actually, just to try to get my steps in. So I've been trying to do 10,000 steps per day on average. Right now I've only done 3,600, which is not enough, right? Not enough, but that's okay. So when I went to Sydney when was that? April? I learned more about non-exercise activity thermogenesis and the effects, and basically when you're in a caloric deficit, how your non-exercise activity, your movement, your fidgeting, your walking, your standing, that kind of just naturally reduces, your body just reduces it automatically without realizing it. So then the amount of calories you're burning on a daily or weekly basis actually drops as well. And that's one of the key reasons that we have to, you know, reduce our food intake or do more sets, do more training, add cardio, things like that. So I thought about that, and I try to keep my needs higher by tracking my steps per day. So for a period of time now, I've been trying to aim for 10,000 steps per day. And then I realized that it was actually affecting my strength in the gym. So I switched it over to 10,000 steps per day for a week, and then 5,000 steps per day for a week. And I alternated through that for a little bit. And then I thought, I can handle doing 10,000 every day. So I did that for a period of time. Lately, more recently, I got quite busy, so I didn't get many steps in at all, like average like 4,000 steps over the week, a week before last, or maybe that was last week. So this past week I've really tried to step that up, and I achieved 10,000 steps or more most days this week. And when I do that, I try to do it incidentally. I don't try to go out of my way. I mean, I do go out of my way to do it, but I don't try to do things that I wouldn't actually be doing in life. So for example, today my steps, I went to the shopping center and did grocery shopping, food shopping, and I just walked through every aisle trying to get my steps up. So I had to be there anyway. I parked a little bit further, which is what I've been doing. I've been parking a bit further. During the week, I went to the beach to do some work at a coffee shop, but I parked pretty far away, so I had to walk there and walk back, and that got me to like 8,000 steps. And then I just finished it off by walking my dog. So I've been walking my dog as well, and that's just things that make me more active, basically. Now you have to be careful though, because more activity can also cause more hunger and also reduce your, to a degree, reduce your recovery. So last night actually I went out for a birthday dinner, which was planned and tracked, and I knew what I was going to eat. So I actually didn't eat that much prior to the dinner. Earlier in the day, I just made sure I had protein feedings at certain times, made sure I had enough fiber, etc. And I really held off, drank a lot of water yesterday, far out, just trying to, you know, stop hunger so I could go out for dinner with a friend's birthday. And I said to myself, if I do all my steps, like 10,000 steps prior to going to that dinner, my hunger is going to be through the roof, and I'm probably going to end up eating way more than I should. So yesterday I actually decided not to do that. So sometimes you need to like give and take a little bit, and it's a mental challenge really, because I know that I'm not the best at dieting when it comes to like getting really lean. I tend to try to find life balance more than I try to find, you know, that pushing to that edge, which is not great as a competitive bodybuilder. But as a person, it's hard to find that balance at times. Last night, I planned all my food, knew what I was going to eat, which was going to be a chicken burger, and it had avocado on it, and it had Thousand Island dressing, and it had potato as well. So it was a very mixed meal with carbs, proteins, and fats. Got there and I was like, man, I just want to eat a bunch of meat. So instead, I actually deleted everything that I tracked, and lucky I saved a lot of calories, because I actually ended up just having a nice big chicken breast, some beef ribs, and a baked potato. So very low carbs, just carbs from the potato and the basting. So the macros were very much changed. So I went over my protein yesterday actually, and I was under my carbs by quite a bit, and I focused on total calories for the most part. These are things you don't really want to be doing in a contest prep, but sometimes you want to find life balance. That's where you do. You think about the biggest factor being calories being number one, and then protein being number two, and I went over my protein target yesterday, so I'm in a good place. Woke up today at the same weight that I was yesterday, so life is all good in that regard. But you know, it's a challenge. Sometimes you want to you're like, okay, I'm gonna go out for dinner and I'm guessing these macros, maybe I should do some additional exercise just in case. But that additional exercise might result in you going over your macros and eating more than you had planned to, because your hunger is higher. So sometimes when you're in that position, it might be smarter to be more active the next day, you know, when you're not in a position where you're being social and you're trying to stick to your goals, but also thinking about, you know, just having fun with friends. So, you know, that's something to think about, guys, when you do contest prep, I guess. But for the past X amount of weeks, well, I started at 24 weeks out, and now it's down to, I started at like 22 weeks out, and now it's down to 6 weeks out. So it's been quite a while. But in that period, most of that period, it's been about maintaining and trying to build, and I have made some gains. I will say that I've regained some muscle. Not really made gains, but I've regained some muscle. But in the process, I've been writing down my weight every day. So I track my weight on a daily basis. And in the past 2 weeks, instead of my weight trending down, which it's done for so many weeks now, it's actually been trending up a little bit, which was really confusing and annoying. But I know that what happened, the cool thing about tracking your macros and having a set training program and being consistent, or very, you know, as consistent as you can, as often as you can. If you change something, you can really see if it actually makes a difference. So, for example, if you're tracking your macros, tracking your body weight, etc., and then you add in a HIIT session and your weight starts to suddenly drop at a noticeable rate faster, you're like, okay, cool, this HIIT's working, that's great. If you increase your salt intake and you gain weight for a period of time, you can say, okay, cool, that's from the higher sodium intake. If you pull it back, same deal, you might drop some fluid short term. You can say, okay, my sodium is fluctuating, I better, manage that. And touching on sodium quickly, I am trying to push it a little bit higher. I tend to get a lot more vascular if I have more salt. Right now I'm in that transition phase where I'm still a bit smooth because it's very hard to consistently have more salt than you're used to. But I'm trying to get more salt in because I find with my physique, over many years of dieting, even when I get like crazy shredded to a point where I'm losing muscle even, the vascularity is only really there on show day and after show day, meaning when I have more salt. So, years ago I had someone at the gym say to me, you know what, you're always like watery, your body always looks really watery. It's kind of like, and he's not a natural athlete, he's like, your body looks watery like, you're doing a cycle or something, because that's something that would occur when he would do that. But your physique doesn't change like you're on a cycle, and it doesn't change and go back, you don't become dry and hard later, you're just kind of the same all the time. That kind of stuck with me for a while because I was like, I don't know why that is, but it's just maybe I got thick skin or something, I really don't know. It turns out, in my opinion, that it just comes down to having a generally low sodium intake, and I'm not being very vascular and hard as a result of that, because when I do go out of my way to have more salt in my diet, I definitely do get some veins coming through my shoulders, and even my heart rate goes up a little bit faster, and I go to the bathroom more and I get leaner, thinner skin. So if I can do that on purpose and look better all the time, I think that's a good thing. I've been researching a bit about sodium, and I read an article from someone who I actually highly respect, and they were saying that you should have 2 grams of sodium per liter of water that you drink as an athlete, which, if you're doing 4 liters of water a day, that's 8 grams of salt, which is a lot. And I'm averaging like 3 grams, sometimes 4 grams, and more often than not, like down to like 1 or 2 grams. And that's just based on what the foods that I eat in my fitness pal. So I've been trying to eat more soups, I've been salting my foods, I've been eating canned foods like canned beans, stuff like that, trying to get my sodium up. So as a result, my weight's been fluctuating because of that, and that's expected, right? But with my weight progressively trending up, something else that I've done differently is I added, I just got some pure H&B supplement. I got some DIM, which is I don't even know how to say the whole word, but it's found in broccoli. And many years ago, I competed in Las Vegas, and one of the competitors there who I went with, he was like, yeah, I take DIM and I take this and I take that, try to reduce the estrogens, and I don't eat out of plastic containers, I only use glass containers. And I was like, man, this guy's next level, like that's ridiculous. But it kind of stuck with me. I'm like, oh well, DIM is a supplement that you use, it's actually found in broccoli, and it reduces estrogen levels or something like that. That's what I thought anyway. So I didn't ever take it, but I've had a lot of clients throughout the years of being an online coach and a face-to-face coach list DIM as a supplement that they take, and a lot of females take DIM actually if they have like PCOS or whatever else. It's supposed to be a supplement or an ingredient, a supplement that will improve your hormone balance, so your balance of androgens and estrogens, your test levels, and the reverse of that. So I thought I would get some when I ordered the H&B. Also got a product called ashwagandha, which is good for stress reduction, as well as rhodiola rosea, and I got those two because they were in supplements that I've used years ago, which I thought were great but overpriced. So I figured I'd just buy those ingredients myself and take them. So by taking those supplements, my weight started to trend up from that point. And H&B is not going to make you, there are studies right now saying that H&B is amazing and people are putting on all this lean mass, but I don't really think so. And being in the caloric deficit, I really don't expect to build any muscle right now, let's be honest. So, I rule that out as not really going to be causing me to gain weight. And ashwagandha and rhodiola rosea, I've used them before as well as stress control supplements. They reduce anxiety, stress, they're adaptogens. So I was thinking it must be the DIM, like it's got to be the DIM adjusting my hormones and making me retain some fluid potentially. So as of today, I've been using it for 3 weeks now, but as of today, I didn't take it this morning. and it's in your mind, right? But I'm like, oh wow, I can see some lines again straight away, which is probably not the case. I probably just had a little bit less salt or something so far today. But because that's going to regulate your fluid retention as well. So we know that already. But I think it's the DIM. So I'm going to get off the DIM, see what happens. I did some research today, and I was learning that DIM can actually reduce your testosterone levels, which isn't really a good idea for someone who's trying to build or maintain muscle. Something to do with the mTOR pathways, whatever else science stuff. But anyway, so I'm getting off the DIM. Outside of that, this contest prep's been pretty fun. I've definitely enjoyed a slow progressive cut. It hasn't been a typical contest prep in the way of normally I would pull my food down sooner, and I would probably add some cardio, some like structured calories burned. Like I'd probably aim for to burn 800 calories per week from low intensity steady state cardio or something like that, or do the cycle bike. But I'm doing conditioning circuits instead, which are a little bit easier if I'm being honest. So maybe I'm being a little bit lazy in that regard. But training's been fun, it's been good. Today's the last day of my current training program, which is a 5-day per week program, but really it's 4 days of weights and 1 day of circuit. So I'm thinking volume's going to get pushed up a little bit. I really don't know because I have a coach, right? So we'll see what he says. But some people say you should reduce your volume towards the end of a contest prep. Others think you should increase it. So I'll see what he has in mind, and I'm open to whatever. But I'm really keen to get my weight down because I was down to 88.0. And today I woke up at 90.1, which is annoying, and I've been 90 a few times this week. But last week I let my coach know that my weight was up, and he thought that visually I still looked better, and it wasn't really going to be an issue. And I was hoping it would drop by now, but it hasn't. So, we'll see what happens. I'm supposed to check in with him today. I took photos for him today, but I will check in tomorrow morning instead, see if my weight drops tomorrow morning. Now that I've taken the gym out today. Not sure how quick it responds, to be honest, but done that. Talking about hunger is definitely higher, way higher. Recently, like last night, went out for that dinner and all I had was protein-based food and 1 baked potato and a Pepsi Max or Coke Zero or whatever, and we went to Starbucks afterwards and I had a long black, and far out I just wanted to order a brownie or a cheesecake or go to donut time and get a Nutella donut. Like, food focus is super high, and I'm embracing that because I know that that's going to result in change. As I tell all of my clients, when you're really hungry and stuff, that's a good thing. That means if you can stick to it and your willpower wins, then you're going to wake up leaner, whether it's today or tomorrow or next week. It's all going to contribute towards that goal physique. My hunger's been up, but overall in my total contest prep, I've been really consistent nutritionally. But when I went to Sydney in April for a conference, I definitely, one day I did like 20,000 steps, and at that point my body was used to doing like 4,000 steps per day. So that day was a very active day, and we went to the gym as well. So after that, we went to Grilled, and I had 3 burgers and I had froyo. So I didn't go to sleep sick, but I was definitely full. So that was probably one point where I was like, okay, this is just a cheat day or a cheat meal or a relaxed day or a diet break of sorts, where I wasn't super focused on my macros. I just kind of had a bit of fun, networked with others, and I had a great time, to be honest. So no regrets in that regard. And then pushing on, about 5 weeks later, we did a 3-day refeed where calories got pushed up, and I felt amazing by doing that. And then pulling the calories back down again, we saw some progress. And then about 3 weeks ago now, my hunger was just ridiculous, and I thought, screw it, I'm just going to go out and have a relaxed day, track it in my FitnessPal, and whatever I go over, I'll just make up for it the next few days. So I went out and had a burrito, and then I shared a donut with my wife, and we had like coffee. I just had a long black, as I do. Then I had a little bowl of gelato, came home, we watched a movie, and I had a Mars bar. That sounds like a real good party, right? I would call that a cheat meal, to be honest. The reason why it's not a cheat meal is because I looked at all the food that I ate, and I went to sleep very full. looked at all that food and I said, okay, you know, I need to make up for this. And I just allocated a 500 calorie drop per day for 4 or 5 days, whatever it was, to make up for how much I went over. Because I went over by quite a few calories. So that's something you can do, but you don't really want to be doing that, right? So, but I don't do cheat meals and I don't really have refeeds. I just have high carb, or I have training day macros and I have non-training day macros. So, you know, I'm not really eating at maintenance at all. So, you know, I thought that might help me a little bit. And to be honest, to be completely honest, that high calorie day where it was like 5,000 calories instead of 2,600, I actually managed to deal with less food for the next week easily. So people who do like these stupid, crazy binges and then they just starve themselves throughout the week and then do it again, sometimes it's not that bad, which is, you know, bad. It's hard to admit to that at times, but you know, because you always think eat to fuel your training sessions. If you binge on a Saturday, by Thursday or Wednesday your workouts are going to suck. But to be honest, I still felt great. My training was still on point. It's possible that I felt guilty to a degree, so I was like, fuck, I need to just put in work and, you know, ignore what I did. But a lot of it was just came down to having an abundance of energy, and, you know, taking a step backwards, but then overall being okay. And by the end of that week, at the very end of that 7th day later, I actually weighing less on the scale as expected. So, you know, that's real talk right there. That's something that I went through. But since then, I've been quite accurate, being on point, haven't done relaxed days or anything like that. Tracking most of my food, being like 95% of my meals are actually weighed and measured myself. I'm not really eating out other than last night, which I felt was just you know, it's a friend's birthday, and, you know, if I'm going to do it now, if I'm going to do it, it might as well be now when I'm 6 weeks out. The next time that I have a relaxed day where I do not really care too much about the macros is on the day of the first competition that I do, and that's because it's my 5-year wedding anniversary on that day. So we're going to do the competition, you know, be my best, obviously do my best I can, and then we're going to go out for dinner that night and celebrate our wedding anniversary, and also getting back on the bodybuilding stage. So we'll celebrate that too. And we're going to go out for dinner, and I'm just going to eat whatever. I probably won't have alcohol because neither me or my wife or I drink that much. So but we'll go out and we'll have a good meal, and you know, we'll be back on the tracking game straight after that for the next comp, which will be 2 weeks later. And this first competition is really so I can qualify for Las Vegas, which is, you know, the main competition that I'm doing. And to be 1000% honest, when I decided to compete, it was because we wanted to go to America and we wanted to have a reason to go to America. And at the back of my mind, I was still like, I want to get back on the bodybuilding stage at some point. Powerlifting has been really, really fun though, I'm not going to lie. And not as demanding in general, but you know, all the ducks are in line right now in my life where I'm able to commit and devote myself to being a bodybuilder again. So it is really exciting that I am getting back on stage. That is a recap, or that is an update of how prep has been going. You know, I really want to get my body used to having more salt. I want to really keep my water intake high. I want to be more vascular. I want to be leaner. I want my weight to be down in the 86s. Right now it's not. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of pushing, whether it's eating less food, whether it's doing more activity, whether it's just the dim that I've been taking that, you know, will now be dropped out, and drop my fluid intake or drop my water retention that I feel that I have. Who knows? We'll see. But that's an update, guys. Outside of that, man, to be honest, I really suck at doing posing practice. I have not been doing my posing practice, so I need to really get on back on track with that. Like I've done it like 3 times. Whenever I do posing practice, it's really just to take photos for the coach, just so you can see my conditioning, and so I can see my conditioning as well and keep track of it. But posing practice is a good way to burn more calories. So, you know, I really need to get on that posing practice game, and to be honest, I'm going to do that today. Like I'm committing right now today that I'm going to do that as soon as I turn this off. Still got 3 more rounds of this circuit to do, and on the plan it says rest for as long as you need to, so this is a pretty long rest, to be honest. But I'm going to do 3 more circuits, then I'm going to do some posing practice. Even though I don't love the way I look right now, I'm going to do some posing practice, and then I'm going to go and have some epic high volume food. Gonna have some eggs, egg whites, a couple of yolks, some zucchini, some leafy mix, some onions, mushrooms, and a tin of crushed tomato with basil, garlic, and onion as well. So that's going to get my sodium intake up as well. And I'll probably do a little bit of bread with that also. So that's it, guys. I made something called protein fluff today, which was a high volume food. If you don't know what it is, like, look it up on YouTube, because that's where I found it. That was pretty cool. Also been doing something called double cooked oats. And shout out to Steve Hall, because he didn't tell me about double cooked oats, but he told me about something else called cocoa oats, which he does. And it's basically 70 grams of oats with 500 mils of water, which is too much water, obviously, and 20 grams of cocoa. Mix it all together, put it in the microwave for 2 or 3 minutes, take it out, let it chill for a minute, repeat that process 2 or 3 times, and it actually gets really fluffy and big. And you leave it in your fridge overnight, and it'll absorb all that fluid, and you just turn 70 grams of oats into 2 cups of oats or more. So it's volume food. So that's his version, calls it cocoa oats. But yeah, I tried it the other day. It was great. And I tried double cooked oats, I guess. But I just made some today with cocoa added, so we'll see how that goes for tomorrow morning. But outside of that, in terms of food choices, been eating the same foods for the most part, other than recently where I've been trying to increase my salt, been having more soups and things like that. But just getting back on track and just eating the same foods for the most part will really help to just stabilize my weight, drop some fluid, which I really think I'm holding. Just because I know that my calories have been tracked well, my training's been pretty consistent, so I know that if I'm gaining weight, it's doesn't make any sense other than fluid retention. So anyways, that's enough from me, guys. Hopefully this has been an informative update, and I'm excited to get leaner, to get on stage, to do my thing. It's been a while, and to actually go to America, because it's been like 2 or 3 years since I was there, and to go to Canada, which is where I'm going straight after Las Vegas. So we're going to go to LA, train at Gold's Gym for a few days, and then go down to Las Vegas, do the National Olympic competition. Some friends are actually going to be competing there as well from Australia, and then we're going to fly up to Canada, check out the snow scene, which we've never been to before, which we're really excited for, and then come down to San Francisco, which we also haven't been to, even though we've been to the States so many times, and then we'll come back home ready for Christmas and summer here in Australia. But that's it, guys. Take care. If you have any questions, hit me up. If you have any comments or whatever, go ahead, subscribe, do your thing. I'll speak to you guys soon. It's time to do my circuit and posing practice.